to you by PaintballToTheEnd.com.
Welcome back to the 10-Minute March. I am Jeff.
And I'm Paul.
And this is episode number 11. Today we're going to be talking about Monday Night Wars Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
This time featuring the WWE and TNA. And we're going to start off with some rants about TNA in the past 2 or 3 weeks of Impact. And then we're going to go into Raw and talk about the past 2 or 3 weeks of Raw. And we'll turn it over to Paul.
All right. I'll try not to dog on TNA too much. Is
that possible?
It's probably not possible, but I'll go with it. I also want to point this out, too, because Lance Storm always rants on TNA. And I usually have to agree with what he has to say. However, there's one thing that I didn't, but I will get to that later. However, I did wholeheartedly agree with the Sting RVD segment from 2 weeks ago. And also, I didn't like the Sting segment with Hogan after that.
Do you like the Sting turn, the heel turn?
I'm rather conflicted on the heel turn. I know they tried in the past and it totally bombed. Mm-hmm. And of course, Vince Russo is probably responsible for it. The thing I didn't like was, here you have RVD is appearing on your show. And they didn't announce that he was going to be on the show. Right. In fact, I think the only reason why some of the fans had the signs was because of, like, WrestleZone.com and other websites, the dirt sheets.
PWW.net, PW Insider, right.
Yeah. And so you don't announce that he's going to be on your show, and all you do announce is the Hogan and Flair match. Excuse me. You know, all you did was have Hogan and Flair open and close the show with AJ and Abyss. And it's the complete opposite of what WWE does. They were announcing that Brett was going to be on the show, I think, 2 weeks in advance. Mm-hmm. And
they announced their general managers and so forth, and if anybody's coming back, they announce it. And it's how you're going to get ratings, not announcing guys that are, especially big-time talent like RVD. How are you going to get ratings if you don't announce them?
Exactly.
And that's one thing that Lance Storm pointed out that I did not realize until he pointed it out. But if you announce that RVD's returning on such and such a date, isn't that going to boost your ratings for that week?
Yeah.
I would think so.
It's ridiculous. And plus, I didn't like the fact that he jumped Sting from behind, from the turnbuckle, gets 2 moves in.
That's a cowardly heel kind of thing to do.
Yeah. And he pins him, and then Sting immediately beats the crap out of him afterward. And then after that, he kept going and going, and then Hogan tried to get in the ring, and the security guard's like, no, don't go in there, and Sting hits him with the bat, and the security guards do nothing.
Yeah, security guards keep Hogan out of the ring, but don't do anything about the guy with the bat.
Yeah, and he's beating up RVD still, and the security guards are like, oh, I don't know what's going on over there. The other part I didn't like of the week after was they had Sting in the rafters again. You know, we've all seen it. Anyway, and to quickly wrap this part up, Hogan calls out Sting to see why he basically turned heel. Why did he go against him and Abyss and all that stuff? So Sting casually just walks down the ramps to get off the ceiling, which you would think if you were a heel, you would want to stay up there if you were a cowardly chicken shit kind of heel. And of course he's on his way out there, and RVD comes out and beats him up. And then throws him in and says, it's yours, Hogan.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I were Hogan, I'd be like, well, that's funny that you beat him up, but I'd sure like to know quickly why he betrayed me. And of course, Eric Bischoff interferes with Hogan, and we never find out why Sting turned heel.
Right. Not that we haven't ranted on people not giving explanations in the past, but the cowardly heel thing to do would be to stay in the rafters. Yeah. If you're not going to have an explanation, do like Batista did. And just drop the mic and just say, look, I don't owe you anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's a difference between not getting an explanation because you were beat up beforehand when you should have never even been out of the place you were at. And coming out to the ring and just dropping your mic. There's a big psychological difference.
Yeah, there is.
AJ Styles should always use the house that AJ built.
Which he did again.
In his promos. That should be his trademark phrase, period.
Yep.
You know, his mic skills stink anyway, And the best way to start good mic skills is to get a catchphrase. And that should be your catchphrase, AJ. Welcome to the house that AJ Styles built.
Yeah.
Every time you come out to do a promo. Period.
Before we go on to Raw, I wanted to defend Angle and Anderson on one thing that Lance Storm did kind of pick on, was that they have their little feud going on. And of course, they're going to be at, Destination X? Mm-hmm. And they've been doing this whole thing where Anderson disses on the soldiers, and he does this kind of goofball heel gimmick. And actually, I sort of like it because, we all know someone like that. Like, especially like in high school, we all know that goofball heel. Oh, I don't care about anything. I don't give a rat's ass about you. And he's kind of like that. And I think that, plus he's good at promos.
Right.
So I think I'm going to have to defend them on that one. Because I do think, I actually kind of like the storyline of what they're doing. And they're not making it too complicated either. So there you go, TNA. I defended you a little bit.
And a couple of quick things I wanted to touch on. Are you turning Matt Morgan heel too soon?
Right.
Because I think he's better as a face.
Yeah.
I really do. And why are you messing with Abyss's theme music when it's the best theme music you've ever had?
Yep.
And putting that generic 1992 crap on top of it? And why is Abyss getting a title shot before the Pope? Didn't the Pope just win this big tournament that you had a month ago?
Yeah.
Where did Abyss come from? Why is he getting a title shot? And why in the heck are we having Jeff Hardy beat AJ Styles clean?
That was stupid.
That gives you 3 people going after AJ's belt that have gotten, 2 people who have beaten him clean, and then Abyss.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And how does that strengthen AJ Styles for any kind of title defense at a pay-per-view? Having somebody come out of nowhere and beat him clean.
Yeah.
Do you guys know where I'm going with this?
Yeah. But anyway.
On to WWE and the Raw over the past 2 or 3 weeks. Combating Impact.
The one thing I want to really say about Raw, and I really marked out huge when I saw this, I want to say to all you, in my little rant, I was kind of saying, you stupid fans, you don't know what this, you're dissing on the storyline. This storyline is awesome. And the reason being, it had a really good payoff. And I love the end of Raw, where you had Stone Cold Steve Austin, which it was a pretty decent Raw overall. Mm-hmm. Stone Cold, of course, oversees the contract signing. And, of course, Brett says, I don't care if I have 2 broken legs, I'm still going to wrestle you. And, of course, Vince begrudgingly, kind of hesitantly signs it. And, of course, Steve Austin says, I hope you get the worst ass whooping of your life. And then he leaves, and then he says, oh, wait, Vince, I forgot to tell you something. Oh, hey, I'll just let Brett do it. And, of course, the camera turns around, Vince turns around, Brett's got his cast on the table. And the crowd is going nuts for it, which I love. I love you, San Diego. He's kind of got this smirk, and he throws away the crutch and pretty much explains to Vince that it was all set up. And here I was thinking that car accident was Vince.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
it was
That's
Brett.
What everybody was thinking too. That was Vince.
Yep, but it was Brett with a little bit of Cena help.
Right.
And that was, and it was
classic.
Oh, I loved it. And Brett's promo was, he did a really good promo. And whoever says Bret Hart can't do promos is stupid. And basically turned around the Brett screw Brett thing on him and said Vince screw Vince. And also turned around Vince's suing remark. Mm-hmm. Says, I will sue you for all your work. It was a home run segment. And Raw needs to do more stuff like that.
We all heard about Shawn Michaels' little, wouldn't say it was a confrontation with Sheamus, but it was a little speech to Sheamus saying, you younger guys need to step up now.
Right.
WWE is reaching a critical point right now. Triple H is at the end of the line. Shawn Michaels is getting ready to retire. Undertaker in the next couple of years is going to retire.
Yep.
There needs to be more younger guys stepping up.
Yes.
They're at a crossroads like they were back in 93 when Hogan left, back in 97 when Brett left, and they need to, when the younger guys need to start stepping up. But to that point, are you pushing Sheamus and McIntyre too soon? Because we went over this conversation a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, it's great that they're wanting them to step up, but really, seriously, do they need to? You've got Punk, Mysterio, Batista, Cena.
Yeah.
Still got Triple H. You still got Jericho with a few years left in him.
Yep. Edge.
Orton's there. You've got John Morrison. John Morrison is ready to step into that role.
Yes.
Do you really need McIntyre or Sheamus to step up now? Or do you need to give them do you want to give them a couple more years, like I think you do?
Yeah.
I think you should give them a couple more years, polish everything, get more established with the fans mainly, because that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Is you need to build credibility with the fans, either as a heel or as a face, or however you want to do it. Build more of a reputation in the next couple years.
Build your character up more, too.
Build your character up more. I don't think they need to push McIntyre and Sheamus quite now. They've got a lot of other talent that's ahead of them, that deserves to be ahead of them, and that can help them along.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's my little rant on WWE right now on that situation with Sheamus and Heartbreak Kid, you know, and the way they are at a crossroads right now. But they've got a lot more help now than they did back in 97 and 93. With that being said, we will close out episode number 11. We will move on to episode number 12. Check out other episodes off to that way. Leave comments down there. And we thank you for watching. And we are done!